Well, the CNN town hall with former President Donald Trump is now in the books, and we have got some analysis of what has been seen, what has been said, and what people are still saying. So hang on, we're going to get this party started. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative. Step on up to my electronic front porch and let's talk. Now, I will freely admit it up front. When I first heard that the Trump campaign had agreed to let the former president do a live town hall meeting on CNN, I was not happy about it. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, the viewers of this channel, I'm still not happy about it. My thought in the matter is this: there are plenty of platforms, be it TV or the internet or wherever, where Donald Trump could go, be interviewed by someone, do a live town hall. He'd be asked tough questions. They'd be fair questions, however, and you wouldn't be getting into a whole lot of back and forth, and you wouldn't be in someone else's arena where you are getting absolutely filleted every chance someone gets by the moderator of the town hall. And as I watched this thing, my suspicions were confirmed. Caitlin Collins, who is the morning anchor on CNN, was the moderator of the town hall. And for much of the 1 hour event, there was a lot of sparring back and forth between her and Donald Trump. I would show you some of the video clips, but everybody and their brother in law is trying to download them right now. So it makes it internet choppy. And I really don't want to do that to you, my viewers. So I'm going to show you my reaction list. And I think it's going to give you an idea of how this thing went down. Now, like I said, I wasn't happy about it. Still not happy about it. But it is altogether possible that I was wrong in what I think is going to happen. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to come out and say it. I have said that no matter whether it's social media, it doesn't matter if it's in my life in general. So let's take a look at some of the reactions to what happened. Now, getting back to the sparring between Caitlin Collins and Donald Trump, this comes from Simon Atiba, who is the White House correspondent for African News Today. He says the following. Take a look at this. From his Twitter page, breaking horrible interview by Caitlin Collins of CNN. She won't even allow Donald Trump to talk, broke all the ethics of journalism. Watch Trump call her nasty, which he did, by the way. That was probably one of the best moments of the debate. Took me back to 2016 with that moment when Trump called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman. Now, Atiba wasn't the only person to notice the just pettiness of Caitlin Collins. Take a look at this. This comes from Darren Beatty of Revolver News. Quote, Caitlin Collins has in her dunderbrain the general notion that serious journalists challenge and push back, yet completely lacking gravitas and substance, her pushback comes across less like serious journalism and more like a bratty daughter upset that daddy won't let her wear that dress to the party. You know, that's pretty harsh, but he ain't altogether wrong. I mean, she came across as petty. She came across as constantly interrupting. She came across just, I mean, the word nasty is probably the best way to describe her. She was awful. I mean, I've seen people moderate these sort of events over the years, and yeah, they've been tough, but they've at least tried to be fair and they've at least tried to be civil. She was none of those things. Now, I said that I wasn't happy about the fact that Trump was going to be doing this, and it's for the very things that I've described as to why I wasn't happy about it. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was the kind of reaction Trump was going to get, but I was wrong in how it's perceived by people, not just at the town hall, but people watching it in general. Because keep this in mind, this is going to go more than just be on CNN. This is going to go out everywhere. Let me show you some other reactions to it. This is from Benny Johnson's Twitter page. Trump pulls out receipts live on CNN. Now, like I said, normally I would show you guys the video on this, but where the internet's so choppy because everybody's trying to download or watch this stuff, you can't really see it. But basically, at one point, they're getting into a discussion of January 6th, which, by the way, Caitlin Collins took the first 25 minutes and that's all she wanted to talk about. So at one point, Trump reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out his Twitter posts for that period, and reads them to her on the air. That's a little bit of that old Trump magic that you see sometimes. Now, there were some other reactions to what happened. And it was moments like that that made people really, remember and know why they love Donald Trump. Now, I said to the title of this video that the reactions vary. Well, I said that I may have been wrong in the perception of how this thing went. Let me show you a tweet by one of our favorite people, the Banshee of Brooklyn, AOC. This is from her Twitter page. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and a public attack of a sexual abuse victim. The audience is cheering him on and laughing at the host. This falls squarely on CNN. Everyone here saw exactly what was going to happen. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way for views. This was a choice to platform lies about the election with January 6th with no plan but to have the moderator air out without consequence. Folks, you begin to see now why I may have been wrong. Yeah, Trump went into the lion's den. Yeah, Trump was having swipes and bites taken out of him at various points by Caitlin Collins, but it could very well be that the perception was, no, Trump was actually doing better than I realized. Let me show you something else real quick. Now, I can't play the video, but I will show you the answer that he gave. Let me set this up. So Trump is asked by a young lady, probably in her mid-20s, we're suffering from inflation, we're suffering from high prices, everybody's struggling to make ends meet. She asks, what would you do to try and alleviate the problem? Trump's answer, drill, baby, drill. One thing I will give Donald Trump credit for in this town hall, when he got the chance to talk directly to voters, and say what you want to about Trump, but he is really good at retail politics. For a man who's really only been in the political arena in earnest since 2015, he has an amazing touch when it comes to talking to people. He can make you feel like you are the only person in the room, and it's just you and him talking to each other. And it's when he got to talk to the crowd, when he got to answer their questions and interact with them, and Caitlin Collins wasn't acting like a screeching banshee, he actually did very well. The answer that he gives was well received by the audience. Now, let me show you some other things. And it was just moments like that. The more he got to talk to the audience, the better he did. And there was one answer he gave that I thought was very good. Let me pull this thing up real fast. This was on the question of Ukraine. And I'm going to see if this thing's going to let me. Nope, still not going to do it. I'll show you. He's asked the question by Caitlin Collins, who do you want to see win in this conflict between Ukraine? Do you want the Ukrainians to win or do you want the Russians to win? On two occasions in giving his answer, Trump said something, I want everybody to stop dying, Russians and Ukrainians. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, that's probably one of the best answers that he gave to any question this night. And it's particularly potent in a place like New Hampshire. Now, certain issues resonate better in some states than in others. I think that's true of anywhere in politics. But when it comes to the question of being anti-war, New Hampshire has a very strong anti-military conflict streak. Now, don't get me wrong. They're very proud of their military. They want to see the United States do well. But they are definitely, as a general principle, the people of New Hampshire are definitely against the idea of foreign intervention, and they very much are very anti-war. That answer is going to go a long way with people, not just in the Republican primary, but I'll make an argument in the election in November of 2024. Now, reactions vary. I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the fact that Trump went in there. I wasn't happy with the fact that he did the thing. But the reaction, the post town hall reaction is kind of telling. Let me show you something from Richard Barris, one of my favorite commentators. I'm going to read this quote verbatim. I am a little impressed. Appearing at the CNN town hall was a high risk, high reward event, and I'm going to render a verdict right now. Verdict: Grand Slam, reward soon to be reaped. The way I saw it, returning to left wing national media in a town hall setting presented Trump an opportunity to reach soon to be disenfranchised RFK voters and moderates who may have soured on him but think that the shine is off Biden. If you watch their recent segments on focus groups, you might have noticed that CNN lost control of an increasing number of them. People are comparing Biden to the peace and prosperity we had under Trump. It's inevitable. Add that to the potential benefit to the major reward that would come from this synergy only he has with RFK voters, and I would have advised him to do this as well. Trump completely controlled that discussion and knocked just about every answer out of the park without falling for any of the predictable gotchas. It was total domination. Rick Wilson was crying, "Enough said." Ukraine nailed it. No doubt a lot of RFK voters will likely agree with the vast majority of what they just heard from Trump. And I'll tell you what, Barris brings up a really good point. I've been talking in several different videos about the challenge that Robert Kennedy Jr. is making to Joe Biden. Right now, he's polling anywhere from, call it 20, 25%. That number, I figure, is going to go higher the closer we get to the primaries next year. But if it turns out that Joe Biden goes on to win the Democratic nomination for president, which honestly I think he's going to, where do those where do those RFK Jr. voters go? Well, they could wind up going to Trump. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but a significant percentage of them could wind up going to Trump, just as the Bernie bros did in 2016. So the more he's talking in these kind of settings, the more he's reaching out either consciously or unconsciously to the RFK voter, which could be pivotal come November 2024. And I'll show you one last reaction. This is from Wendell Husbo of Breitbart News. He says the following on his Twitter page: Donald Trump is crushing CNN host Caitlin Collins at the town hall tonight. The left will be very unhappy with her performance. Trump is looking very strong. Caitlin Collins is becoming more and more combative by interjecting her own opinions. I thought Collins was a journalist. She keeps trying and failing to fact check Trump. So that's sort of the instant reaction to what happened tonight. But let me know what you think. Drop some comments on this video. And as always, please do me some favors. Number one, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please do so. Number two, hit the bell for notifications. Number three, please share this video around. And finally, please give me a thumbs up on it. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your Front Porch Conservative, and I'll see you next time.